this is Karen.
Hi, everybody. I'm Shane.
Today we're looking at part 2 of Where Do Birds Go in Bad Weather? And the vocabulary words are extreme.
Extreme.
Against the advice of his doctor, Larry went on an extreme diet.
Dangerous. Pressure.
Pressure.
The weather report said an area of low pressure will be passing through the region.
Thankfully.
Thankfully.
Thankfully, none of the passengers was seriously hurt in the accident.
Warmth.
Warmth.
Patty smiled as she felt the warmth of the sun on her skin.
Probably.
Probably.
Our friends think they'll probably arrive at around 2 o'clock.
Okay, just in time.
So we're still talking about the birds, right? What happens to them when the weather condition is not so great?
Well, I know that you've never really thought about this because you don't care about birds.
I do.
The first time I experienced a typhoon in Taiwan, I did notice the birds kind of like floating around like it's really hard to fly in that kind of weather.
That's right.
And I thought if there's some very serious winds and really, really bad weather, like being inside a tree is not good because trees will fall over.
That's true.
So where do they go?
Well, that's why the birds would migrate. And then they would fly all together to somewhere safer.
How do they know?
Because they can feel the air pressure changing. And then they can feel when a storm is coming. And so they fly away to keep themselves safe. And then I think the ones that stay, they would have to find shelter for themselves.
And besides, because it's very important to keep warm.
Yes.
So besides just being able to use their feathers to keep warm, they also will fatten up for the winter. So if it's going to be very cold and lots of snow, they'll protect themselves with fat.
So they can still survive in a really, really bad weather condition.
Humans kind of do that too, right? We get fatter in the winter because we don't go outside and exercise as much.
True, but I don't think everyone would like to get fatter in the winter.
Yeah, it's not to keep ourselves warm.
Yeah.
We just don't move as much.
That's right.
Okay.
Okay, let's learn more about these interesting birds.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Where do birds go in bad weather?
Since rain is dangerous for many birds, it's not surprising that more extreme weather can be even more so. Strong winds from typhoons or hurricanes are especially harmful. However, birds can tell when a storm is coming as they feel changes in air pressure. As a result, birds that migrate may leave earlier to avoid the storm, while others seek shelter and hang on for dear life.
Today's lesson is called, Where Do Birds Go in Bad Weather? Part 2. Hello, everyone. My name is Jeff.
And I'm Mike. And yeah, we're learning about some of the challenges of being a bird on a rainy day. It's not as simple as, I'll just fly somewhere sunny. You know, small little birds can't travel that far or that quickly, so they will get wet. Luckily, they have feathers that can act as kind of a jacket, a sweater, a shirt, trapping warm air, keeping their bodies warm. That's okay for a while, and they can hide under a tree or a bush or somewhere to get out of the rain. But if the rain lasts more than a few hours, being hungry, starvation can become a problem.
It's a big problem for these birds, especially those little delicate birds. Those poor birds.
Eat all the time.
Anyways, more on birds and rain. Since rain is dangerous for many birds, it's not surprising that more extreme weather can be even more so.
Sure.
So a couple of hours of rain, that's kind of a big deal for a bird. How about a typhoon that might last for many, many hours?
Yeah, or a rainy season, or it just rains all day for a week at a time. That kind of extreme weather can be dangerous for humans, never mind little birds. And we have jackets and umbrellas and homes to go to. Something that is extreme, we use this adjective to say it's kind of at the limit. It's at the far end of what's sort of normal, okay? So if you get on the MRT in the morning and it's quite full, well, that's pretty normal. But if you found it hard to even get one person in the doors because it's so packed with people, well, that would be extreme.
That's intense, dude.
That's absolutely intense and not common. It's also another thing about something extreme. It's not normal, it's not common, because it is kind of at the far ends. If we talk about extreme temperatures with global warming, you know, if it ever got up to 39 or 40 degrees in Taiwan, wow, that would be an extreme temperature. It's at the very top limit of what we would normally expect to see, what we've seen in the past. For example, against the advice of his doctor, Larry went on an extreme diet. He wanted to lose a lot of weight, so he said, I'm going to eat 1 carrot only every day. That's an extreme diet.
That's an extreme
He's
diet.
getting 60 calories instead of 2,000. That could be very bad for him.
Anyways, more on birds. Strong winds from typhoons or hurricanes are especially harmful.
These are extreme winds.
These are extreme winds.
Yeah.
There's going to be a whole lot of rain as well, so you put them together and you have something that's pretty bad for these birds. However, though, birds can tell when a storm is coming as they feel changes in air pressure, and then they get out of dodge, so to speak. They don't wait around for the typhoon to take them out. Anyways, here we've got air pressure, okay? When we're talking about pressure, we're talking about something that is pushing down on something, or something that is pushing all around on the outside of something. And usually when a typhoon forms, the air pressure changes. I believe that typhoons are areas of low pressure, or they form around areas of low pressure. But apparently, birds, they feel this particular change in air pressure, and they can go ahead and, like I said before, get out of dodge before the worst weather arrives. Anyways, for example, the weather report said an area of low pressure will be passing through the region.
Interesting. So I wonder if that's a way for us to know if a typhoon's coming. If you suddenly notice that your neighborhood is very quiet a day or two before, maybe the birds have gotten out of dodge or gotten away from the danger, flown off to somewhere safer. So as it says, as a result of feeling this change in the air pressure, as a result, birds that migrate may leave earlier to avoid the storm, while others seek shelter and hang on for dear life. So if your wings are strong enough, fly off to somewhere that the storm won't be, and if they aren't, well, find a good safe bush or tree and hold on for dear life, or hold on hoping that you can survive. All right, well, we've survived the first part of the article. Let's take a break and we'll be back.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny。我们在第一天的课文读到，雨会对鸟类造成2种威胁，一个是失温，一个是饥饿。那如果雨只是下几个小时，可能还好，鸟还可以去找地方等雨停。可是如果雨下得很久，它们也没有办法飞到天气好的地方嘛，那么那些柔弱的小型鸟可就麻烦大了。Charles 老在开场的时候呢，用到 delicate 这个字。delicate， 它可以用来形容是脆弱的、柔弱的，也可以形容是易碎的或是精美纤细的。好，那么课文提到说，由于雨对许多鸟类来说都是危险的，因此越是极端的天气更是如此，这并不令人意外。尤其呢是像台风或是飓风所带来的强风会造成伤害。那不过鸟类它们因为可以感受到气压的变化，所以可以判断出风暴什么时候会来临。那么迁徙的鸟类它们可以提早离开，避开风暴，而其他鸟类则是要去寻找遮蔽处，死命的抓紧。好 ，Jeff 老师刚刚用到 get out of dodge。这个用语呢是表达迅速离开，尤其是指尽速撤离某个艰难或是危险的环境。那我们再来看单字 extreme， 它是形容极端的、激烈的。 Mike 老师提到2个极端的例子，像是坐捷运碰到非常拥挤的状况，挤都挤不上，或者是像那种极端减肥方式，一天只吃1根胡萝卜，这样热量就真的少得太夸张了。好，这时候老师用到 packed。packed 可以用来形容人或是物是挤得满满的，还要用到 calorie，calorie，calorie 就是卡路里这个热量单位。我们再看下一个单字 pressure，pressure 表示压力，那么 air pressure 就可以指气压。这边还有5个重点，第一个 since 在这边呢是当连接词用来表达因为、由于、既然的意思，那么可以摆在句首或是句中，例如Since everyone's here, let's get started. 既然大家都到了，那我们就开始吧。好，第2个重点是 It is not surprising 加上 that 子句，这是表达说什么什么不令人意外。那这边是用虚主词 it 来代替 that 子句，例如 It's not surprising that Jenny got there late.Since she's late all the time, Jenny 晚到并不令人意外，因为她老是迟到啊。好，再来看第3个重点，副词片语 as a result 表示结果，因此。例如 Daniel had been under a lot of stress at work, and as a result, he became ill. Daniel 工作压力很大，结果他生病了。第4个重点。While 是指而或是然而，在这边它相当于 whereas， 用来对照2组人事物，像是 While some people like summer, others prefer winter。有些人喜欢夏天，而有些人喜欢冬天。我们用 while 来对照这2组。第5个重点。Hang on for dear life 或者是 hold on for dear life 是指因为害怕或是危险而抓得很紧，为了保命而抓紧一点。其中这个 for dear life 是指尽全力竭力的意思。例如 Scared of falling off the horse, the rider held on to the reins for dear life. 害怕从马背上摔下来，那名骑士他死命地抓住缰绳不放。好，接着回到课文中。
Where do birds go in bad weather?
In colder climates, birds also have to deal with snowstorms and the cold that they bring. Thankfully, birds' bodies are built to help them survive in the cold. Unlike humans, who lose heat through their feet, birds' feet are cold all the time, so they aren't affected by the cold ground. Besides being able to trap air in their feathers to hold in warmth, birds prepare their bodies for winter by fattening up to help keep warm.
Okay, so we've been talking about rain and typhoons and hurricanes. Usually, typhoons and hurricanes, they occur in places that are tropical or subtropical, kind of hot places. What about colder places? What do birds do in colder places? Well, the next sentence says, in colder climates, birds also have to deal with snowstorms and the cold that they bring. So, what do birds do?
Well, thankfully, we read, birds' bodies are built to help them survive in the cold, or at least the birds that spend winter in cold places, their bodies are built to help them survive the cold. Yes, thankfully, this is true. We use this adverb thankfully when we're kind of saying luckily or happily. This is something that could have gone wrong. It could have had a bad result, but something good happened, either just because of nature or because of luck or because of good planning, and it didn't happen. The bad thing didn't happen because we planned or we were lucky or just something was good. For example, thankfully, none of the passengers was seriously hurt in the accident. That could have been luck. That could have been a well-designed bus or train or whatever crashed, and also because people were wearing their seatbelts. But it could have gone badly, but the good thing is, the good news is, it didn't. Thankfully.
How fortunate.
Yes.
Anyways, moving on. Unlike humans who lose heat through their feet, birds' feet are cold all the time.
Really?
So they aren't affected by the cold ground.
They should put on some socks.
They're not affected by the cold.
Oh, I see. Because
during
yes.
during the winter though, yes, socks are great because if you put socks on your feet there, you won't lose that heat. But birds, no problem. They're not affected by the cold ground. They can walk around on ice if they so chose. Now, besides being able to trap air in their feathers to hold in warmth, birds prepare their bodies for winter by fattening up to help keep warm. Interesting. Maybe they actually have a term for bird blubber. You eat and eat and eat and you get that layer of fat in your body, kind of like blubber, to keep you from getting cold when it's cold outside. I'll have to look that up. For now, though, let's talk about the vocabulary word warmth. Warmth. W-A-R-M-T-H. Notice the first four letters. Warm. If something is warm, it's not cold, it's not quite hot, it's a little bit hot. So the state of something being kind of warm, kind of hot, not too cold, that's warmth. For example, Patty smiled as she felt the warmth of the sun on her skin. Yeah, it was probably spring or fall when this was happening and not in the summer when the sun is really, really hot here in Taiwan.
Yeah, no, that's not good.
I don't stare at the sun in the summer here in Taiwan.
Too much warmth at times. Yeah. All right, let's take a break and then we'll be back with more about birds and surviving.
刚刚说到鸟类可以判断出风暴什么时候来临 ，Jeff 老师提到说，台风或飓风是在热带或亚热带地区形成的，都是比较热一点的地方。那老师说的 tropical 就是形容热带的 ，tropical。那我们如果在 tropical 前面加上字首 sub 变成 subtropical， 就可以形容是亚热带的。好，那么至于在比较冷的气候当中，鸟类还得面对暴风雪，还有严寒的天气。那幸好鸟类它们身体构造呢，可以帮助它们在寒冷当中生存。鸟的脚一直都是冷的，所以它们也不会受到冰冷地面的影响。而它们除了可以把空气积聚在羽毛当中来保暖，它们还会借由增肥来替冬天做好准备哦，用体内脂肪来帮助自己保暖。好，这时候老师有提到 blubber。B-L-U-B-B-E-R 这个字是表达皮下脂肪，不过呢 blubber 通常是指海洋哺乳动物的那种皮下脂肪，可能像是海豹啊、鲸鱼它们的皮下脂肪。好，这边还有两个单字 thankfully 它是副词，表示幸亏、幸好或是感谢地。那么 warmth 在 warm 温暖后面加上 th 变成这个名词 warmth， 它表示温暖、暖意或是保暖，它是不可数名词。解华课文中
Where do birds go in bad weather?
As you can see, birds have a number of ways to handle bad weather. When storm clouds gather and Mother Nature lets loose her fury, your feathered friends will probably be just fine.
Okay, everyone, as you can see, birds have a number of ways to handle bad weather. Okay, and we didn't even talk about penguins. Boy, are they ever adapted to handle bad weather.
Yeah, and they can't fly anywhere.
Yeah, they can swim, they can't fly, but somehow they don't freeze to death down there in the South Pole.
Blubber. Definitely.
Must be blubber.
Definitely
Must be
fat
the blubber.
in that case. All right, so when storm clouds gather and Mother Nature lets loose her fury, or big storms come along, your feathered friends will probably be just fine. So yes, we should worry about the little birds because they're little and they're cute and we like them, but don't worry, Mother Nature, who makes the storms, has also provided birds with ways to deal with this extreme weather. So they'll probably be just fine. Probably, this adverb means most likely. It's a good bet. This is something we would expect to see. Sure, if it's a Category 5 typhoon and it blows through for 3 days, it could be bad, but that is highly unlikely. It probably won't happen, so the birds will probably be fine. Don't bet against those little birds. For example, our friends think they'll probably arrive at around 2 o'clock. Something might happen. They might forget something and have to go home or miss the bus or whatever, but it's a good bet that they will be here around 2 o'clock. Very, very likely.
My buddy Eddie, he's going to Macau.
Yeah?
He's never gambled before.
Okay.
He's probably going to lose a whole lot of money. He has
probably,
no idea what he's doing.
Yeah.
Poor guy. Anyways, what do you guys think? How do other animals protect themselves from bad weather?
Good question. Well, I know that certain types of fish will just swim lower down under the ocean, further down, away from the big rough waves to protect themselves from bad weather. So I know that they have a way of sort of getting away from the power of the storm.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Animals are amazing.
They're no dummies.
They're marvelous creatures.
Oh, yeah.
All right, folks, our lesson is now in the books, and it's time for us to say bye-bye.
Take care.
看了这2天的课文，我们可以了解到鸟类有许多应对恶劣天气的方法。当暴风雨来袭的时候，应该不用太担心它们可能会好好的，不会有事。那我们最后来看单字 probably。Probably 就表示或许、很可能的，那这个字是当副词。那麦克老师刚刚提到说，要碰到5级的那一种强烈台风，还持续刮台风刮3天，是比较不可能会遇到的事情啦。那老师用到 Category 5来指5级，这是因为像在美国，他们是用1到5级来去分类飓风的强度。那我们则是用轻度、中度和强烈来划分台风的强度，所以两边的那种归类的方式是不太一样的。好啦，那么以上是今天课程讲解，谢谢同学们收看，我们下次见喽，拜拜。
See you next time.